What's going on, guys? Hi, it's Light, Land for Turn Commander, back with another video. Murders at Karlov Manor has fully been spoiled, and I was looking through all the cards, and there's a few that caught my eye from the set, the main set, and I would love to talk about them with you. We will do another video that is more of the commander-specific cards that are in the commander decks, but today I just want to run through the sweet ones that I saw from the main set. Cool? Let's do it. Land for Turn. Land for Turn Commander. Alright, so first off, we have the new Massacre Girl, Known Killer. It's 2 black for a 4/4, Vampire Assassin. She's got a menace, like the last one, but creatures you control have Wither. And whenever an opponent's creature dies, if they had toughness less than 1, you're gonna draw a card. So this is a weird one. You're thinking Toxic Deluge and things that do minus, you know, drop that down, draw cards. But I'm just thinking of like a good card advantage engine for a deck that wants to swing, that wants to attack. It makes combat very annoying for your opponents. So a lot of time, this is going to be just unblockable. Some creatures are just going to get through because they don't want to deal with the -1/-1 counters on all their creatures. Yeah, I just think for mono black, you know, I think this is good in a lot of decks that don't want to attack, that put that pressure on your opponents and make it like the bookkeeping of it all is just going to be annoying for them. That's going to turn into either unblockable or card draw. It's just a win-win. And she's got menace, so she's going to be attacking in here pretty easy. Good card draw for black. It's awesome. I mean, they didn't need it, but here we are. Another dope card in black is Vein Ripper. 3 black for a flying 6/5 Vampire Assassin. And got ward, sacrifice a creature, and its main text is Juiced Up Blood Artist. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. This card might just end games. Blood Artist on a big board is very scary, and people's life totals can shrink super fast. This guy is just juiced up. He's, you know, it is 6 mana, but he's a flying 6/5, so he is a beater, and that's just like a machine gun just sitting out there. If they want to even target him at all, you're going to get 1, which that's not really what we're looking for, but we want to put that on and be like, hey, I am the threat. I am the captain now. Whatever you do, just be careful, because your life totals could just go dead. 0 to 60, 60 to 0, dead. Vein Ripper is pretty sweet. It's just, you know, it's aristocrat stuff. Anything with aristocrats wants these style of things to get damage in when creatures die. Usually it's your own creatures, but Blood Artist is so dope that it's all the creatures that die. Like a stalled board state, this thing is gonna come down and people are gonna be scared. Like, can we get rid of this thing before we do a board wipe? But if you pair this with Blasphemous Act for 1 mana or Vanquish the Horde for 2, ooh, everybody gonna die, and you're gonna win. And you're gonna gain a lot of life. You're gonna gain so much life. Like, the advantage of Blood Artist, that when those board wipes happen, you just jump up, they all jump down, and you're in a really good position. This thing's mega. You're probably gonna kill 1 or 2 people if the board is pretty juicy, and you're gonna gain a crap ton of life. This card's awesome. 6 mana, but super awesome. Next card is a green card, common. 2 and a green for Slime Against Humanity. It's a card that you can have any number of in a deck, and those cards are pretty sweet. Dragon's Approach, Persistent Petitioners, Relentless Rats, Dark Apostle. There's a bunch of those. The decks are kind of goofy, but this one single card can breed its own style of a deck. When you cast it, you make a 0/0 ooze with Trample, and you get counters on it where it's 2+ however many of these cards you have in your graveyard or in exile. So baseline, you're going to 2/2 ooze with Trample. The fact they have Trample, that's really the kicker. If they just made oozes and they just had counters on them, it would not be nearly as good. The Trample is huge. If we can mill or get a bunch in our graveyard and cast one, and you're putting down like a 12/12, now we're talking. You need probably 20 to 25 just to make the deck really work. You can make the tokens bigger with like doubling season style effects that double the counters on them. Make some big boys. This has been going through my mind now with milling. If you can mill a lot, it doesn't matter if they're in your graveyard or they get exiled from your graveyard. You just need to get them in the graveyard no matter what. Somebody Bajuka Bogs you, it doesn't matter. They're in exile. They're still going to cast for bigger ones later. Mega mill. So you want to pair is probably blue. So yeah, few commanders that come to my mind, probably Tassiger. You can mill Tassiger and just be able to cast him for super duper cheap. Use his ability whenever you need to. That's your card advantage while you work on this. Maelstrom Wanderer, because it's just free spells. You know, you just cast the thing and they get haste and you start casting bigger ones and bigger ones. Pretty cool. Is this the first time that we're going to do 2 of these style cards? I'm thinking this guy, this sorcery, Slime Against Humanity with Persistent Partitioners. Can we make that work, or is there just not enough space in the deck? Because say you needed 20 of each. You already have 40 cards. Usually you have about 60 some cards in the deck, just other than lands in your commander, right? Because Tasker wants the persistent partitioners. Maybe that's the deck. Maybe we build that. Maybe that's a deck tech in the future. That sounds fun. Super fun. Another card that you can have as many as you want in a deck. It always breeds cool stuff. So awesome. All right. The next one is a red card. It's called Connecting the Dots. It's 1 in a red for an enchantment. And it says, whenever a creature you control attacks, you exile a top card of your library face down. You can't see them, but you're building a new hand. If you got a go wide board or even like Ishin where you can double this trigger, I mean, you can get 10 cards under there easily, right? 1 in a red to discard your hand, sacrifice this thing, and you're going to put all those cards into your hand that were under it. That seems like pretty decent card advantage. 2 red to get a bunch of cards into your hand. You have to discard your hand, but you get a bunch of cards. I'm just thinking Ishin, this thing's awesome. It's got to be awesome in there. That deck needs the card advantage because the commander is all about attack triggers. But I don't know, in red decks, they want this mono red attack. Anything that's attacking is probably your best bet with this thing. It's just card advantage, and it's late card advantage. So you can attack, and if you know you have the mana and stuff, you can always just save some mana up and just be like, well, I'm okay right now, or I can just deploy my whole hand and just be like, I'm gonna refill right now. Boop boop, just sack it, you discard nothing because you got nothing left, and put it all in your hand. Seems super, super sweet. This is a really cool red card. Next card is a blue card, Conspiracy Unraveler. It's a 7-drop, 5 blue for a 6/6 flying Sphinx Detective, and you may collect evidence 10 rather than paying the mana cost of cards you cast. So in a mill deck or just dredge or anything, this is just seems like a bomber, you know? If you have a full graveyard, that could be 7 mana to cast the rest of the things in your hand. I see this in like Mimeoplasm. Mimeoplasm really wants to mill themselves. They can get the text of the creature with the counters from another creature power-wise on top of it, right? This thing in there, you make this with the text box and some other big, huge thing and put a bunch of counters on it, but now your Mimeoplasm lets you cast all the stuff from your hand. That's Sultai. You got plenty of cool cards to mill. No, I'm just going to slam this on 7 and just hopefully cast the rest of my hand. Hopefully there's some card advantage stuff so I can just keep going, and if you have enough stuff in there, enough big things in there, this is pretty easy. 2 5-drops from your graveyard exiled so you can cast another spell from your hand. I mean, if you mill enough, I guarantee you have 40 mana value worth of cards in your stuff. You can play 3 to 4 spells. Might be win more, but oh man, I want to do this. This sounds so much fun. Now I got one more card on the list. And looking through the set, there's a lot of other awesome cards, bangers, bunch of cool commanders and stuff. I just wanted to pick out a few that just kind of caught my eye. And this last one definitely caught my eye. I love counters decks with +1/+1 counters, and it seems like it kind of fits in some weird scenarios that are actually kind of dope. It's called Repulsive Mutation. It's X and Simic for an instant spell, and it says you put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, and then you counter a target spell unless that player pays mana equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. That's dope. First of all, Simic counters. Your creatures are probably huge. This is a 2-drop counter spell. You don't need to put the counters on stuff. You can just counter spell for 2 mana as long as you got beaters, you know, anything that's got, I mean, it's Simic, dude. You got the biggest creatures in the world. But then you can still get counters on stuff. I love that. Even just for 3 mana, getting a counter on a creature to trigger some stuff or get some system moving, right? I have a Volrath deck. Putting a counter on a creature is mega. And Volrath is a 7/5. People aren't paying 7 mana to like pay for that spell. It's going to get countered. It's an uncommon. I thought it was pretty cool. There's a lot of cool other uncommons in here that are kind of sneakily like under the radar. They're pretty dope. But yeah, this one's caught my eye. I'm probably going to add it. It's that counter spell. It's a counter action. It just has a lot of utility, and it can kind of fit anywhere you need it to. All right, cool. So yeah, that was a few cards that I saw that I'm definitely going to pick up. I'm going to make another video here pretty soon that's talking about the cards in the commander decks that I thought were pretty awesome. There is some sweet ones. Be ready for that. So yeah, I hope you find what you like in the set and pick up what you need for your commander decks, right? Pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell the homies, tell your friends, tell your play groups. It's all dope. It's all cool. And don't forget your L for T. See ya.